Hi, Dr. Frankie Bashan, and I'm here with you all today for another one of my video talks, or what are they calling these days? I can't even keep up, but it was vlogs. I don't know, but I'm here with you every Thursday to share about thoughts that I have, ideas, concepts, tips, suggestions related to topics that come up in my practice, and want to share the wealth of knowledge and experience that I have been accumulating over 2 decades as a clinical psychologist, recently a board certified sex therapist, which I got actually started at the beginning of the pandemic. We all needed to be really productive. So that's one thing I had wanted to do, and I made that happen. So I'm pretty happy about that. I've also been running a matchmaking agency, national matchmaking agency since 2009, so a decade and a half. So with that said, there's a lot of experience, knowledge, education that I've acquired through the years that I want to help, I want to put out there so that if there's anything that could be useful for you to help you improve yourself, the way in which you're engaging in life, so on and so forth. And that's what I'm here for. So I've got a great topic that I want to share with you all today. And I want to encourage you to like, share, subscribe to my channel. I just checked before I hopped on today, and it looks like I have 15,999 subscribers. Amazing. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't, I want to encourage you to do so. Click that little bell below. I think it says notifications and select all, whatever that option is. I can't remember. I think it's that. It might be, I think it's to the right of the screen. It says notifications. And if you select all, you'll get to see all the video content, whether it be something that is related to my talks or whether it's my Love, Laughs, and Lessons podcast, which also comes out every week. You'll get to hear whatever's the latest and greatest information that we're putting out there. So I'm going to jump into today's topic. And at the end, there are some resources I'm going to suggest, and the links will be in the notes below so that you can gather those if you want to acquire any of the resources, the books that I'm going to recommend. So today we're going to be talking about diving back into dating after a toxic relationship. Oof, I think most of us at this point have had the experience of being in a toxic relationship. I know that I certainly have. And even with all of my years of experience and education, I'd like to say, though, that happened early, like many, many years ago. But I think most of us can relate to being with somebody who, maybe brings out not the best in us, or maybe has mental illness or, aren't, working hard on further developing their own emotional development. So I think this is a topic that is relatable to folks. So hopefully you get something out of it today. None of us are dating with a clean slate, so to speak. We all bring baggage into our relationships, whether that's internalized narratives from our family, messages about romance we learned from movies or books, or tough lessons from previous relationships. If you've had relationships that held more than the usual ups and downs and included some toxic or harmful elements, you may have a tougher time than most approaching dating again. It can feel incredibly intimidating to try to make space for a relationship again when your last one brought you so much hurt, suffering, pain. Maybe you're uncertain in how to approach a healthy connection now that you've come out of something like that. With that said, it's possible to find and thrive in a healthy relationship after a toxic one. And I'm going to share with you how you can go about doing that. Remember that you can trust yourself and you deserve stability and pleasure. Yeah, like lots of us, right? We're drawn to dysfunction because we maybe grew up with dysfunction or we're used to having relationships that are dysfunctional. But believe it or not, we can actually find stability and pleasure. People existing toxic or harmful relationships often worry about whether they'll ever be able to trust a new partner, especially, especially if they've previously been cheated on. But these same people can find themselves struggling more than they expected with trusting themselves. After all, they also felt that past partners were going to be a good match for them. Can they really rely on their own judgment? So we start to have this like self-doubt. Maybe we can't trust ourselves in some way. While it's good to be judicious and thoughtful about big decisions like romantic partners, It's also important not to let this erode your core sense of trust in yourself. We all get hurt in relationships, every last one of us. No one on earth has never experienced pain, betrayal, or being let down in a romantic context. It's a universal experience, meaning you aren't uniquely broken or failing. And in any circumstance, romantic or not, it's crucial to remember that the responsibility for harm lies with the person who chose to cause it, not the victim. You are not to blame for the way you were treated, and your decisions about romantic partners aren't fundamentally misguided. Get serious about your red and green flags. I know I've talked about red and green flags repetitively throughout the years, but I keep bringing it up because it's so important to be aware of. With that said, it can be helpful to give yourself some guideposts, you want to follow while you're dating to keep on mind, right? Not because you're incapable of making good decisions, but because new relationship energy is so very powerful and it's useful to ground yourself. Think of it as leaving water and ibuprofen out for yourself on the nightstand before you go out for a night of partying. You know that it'll be more challenging to make the best choices for yourself later because of all the chemicals in your brain. So you choose to set yourself up for success now. Thinking carefully about what green flags represent qualities you know you want in a partner, and what actions are red flags that you know are associated with toxic qualities you don't want, can make your decisions around dating easier and help you feel more confident about them going forward. We can struggle to trust our feelings, and it's understandable why, right? The way we feel about someone in the heat of the moment can lead us to draw conclusions we don't agree with later. But deciding what concrete actions and behaviors you value and don't provides infrastructure to make choices that make your life meaningfully better. Let your dates earn your trust over time. We know that our new relationship energy, also called the honeymoon phase or limerence, or just the feeling of having an intense crush or infatuation, can cloud our head and our judgment. That's why some toxic dates use techniques like love bombing, right? We've all heard about love bombing, and if you haven't, look it up. Overwhelming someone with adoration and affection early on is one way to create the experience of new relationship energy and rush into a relationship so that by the time you realize your needs may not actually be met in this connection, you already feel locked in. You're like emotionally invested. This doesn't mean you need to run screaming from everyone who pays you a compliment or invites you to meet their friend group. But it doesn't mean it's helpful to have your own guidelines in place to avoid moving too fast. Even or especially when you really like someone. Developing your own milestones for relationship pace, when to sleep over, when to become exclusive, when to move in, and staying consistent with them, even when you're over the moon about someone, helps mitigate the possibility of a toxic relationship developing despite your best intentions. Communicate transparently with future partners. If a past history of toxic relationships is a meaningful influence on how you approach current ones, if it's made you fearful of abandonment, jumpy about conflict, given you trust issues around lying or cheating, it's crucial that you communicate this up front to anyone you want to date seriously. This shouldn't be done as a warning or as a confession, so to speak. Having been in previous toxic relationships doesn't mean there is something broken about you that you need to disclose to partners or hope that they'll accept about you. On the other hand, it also shouldn't be the basis for a set of rules they have to follow or otherwise be as bad as your exes. The goal isn't to beg their understanding or control their behavior, but to give your partner the context they need to be successfully in a relationship with you specifically. If a previous partner had a drinking problem, for example, and was prone to going out for the night and then being MIA until midday the following day, knowing that context can help your current partner understand why it's helpful for them to text you when they get home from a night out with friends and say goodnight. Consider the support of therapy or counseling. Healing from toxic relationships and gaining the confidence to date again afterwards involves practices of developing one's perspective and also learning to trust the perspective you already have. Therapy or counseling can help support you with both of these endeavors. A trusted counselor can provide you with an objective take on your dating life and help spot trends or behaviors that may be worrying before you can. But they can also crucially help you rebuild trust in yourself and in others after having experienced real harm at the hands of a previous romantic partner. The book recommendations that I had mentioned earlier on are Whole Again, Healing Your Heart and Rediscovering Your True Self After Toxic Relationships and Emotional Abuse. And again, you can find these URLs in the notes below. Dating After Trauma, How to Find the Love of Your Life After Experiencing an Abusive Relationship, Rape, or Sexual Abuse. Healing from Toxic Relationships, 10 Essential Steps to Recover from Gaslighting, Narcissism, and Emotional Abuse. Freedom from Toxic Relationships, Moving On from the Family, Work, and Relationship Issues that Bring You Down. Thank you all for tuning in today. I'm going to be here next week with another excellent topic to cover. And please, if you have any reactions, comments to anything I've talked about today, you think it'll help somebody that you know, please share it and comment below because I do my best. I love hearing from you. And I also love having the opportunity to respond to your queries. So hope you're all having a great week. Kisses, hugs, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye.